The bolter. The Swiss Army knife of the Space Marines, the backbone of the Imperium. Going off of literature, there are many variants of the standard bolt rifle. However, in most cases it fires a 75 caliber rocket-propelled warhead. The projectile is designed to reach the target, puncture its surface, then detonate when inside. There are two weapons in real life that could be considered similar. The first is an RPG. Aesthetically though, the USMC M90 grenade launcher matches the scale of a Space Marines bolter. In this video, my goal is to create an accurate depiction of a Space Marine being struck by a bolter. Let's get into it. Well, I was planning on painting this in one day, but then I saw these mold lines and I'm pretty sure most of you know how to remove mold lines by now, but the sanding sticks help a lot. If you haven't tried them out yet, give them a shot. I used my pin vise to create an entry wound and also drill out the gun's barrel. I did some rough planning on the path the bolt would travel through my poor Ultramarine. For the exit wound, I used my hobby cutters initially, then moved on to the Dremel. The cutters make the plastic look as though it's bursting, while the Dremel is good for removing unwanted areas. Also guys, when you're grinding plastic, you want to make sure you're wearing a mask, well-ventilated area. This is not the stuff you want to be breathing in. Now for the explosion, I used the sculpted effect by Deadly Print Studio. I purchased the 3D print file, but you can order physical copies from their website. Alright, so now that I've got my explosion printed and removed from its supports, I can figure out how I want it positioned to match that of the entry wound. I do some damage to the left pauldron to carry over what we started. I also hacked up the backpack and held on to small chunks that I removed. That's them on the right. After priming everything black, I hit the Marine with a coat of Prussian blue, then highlighted with Andrea blue and sky blue. Nothing too crazy honestly, just dark, medium, and light blue. Now I'm hitting the model with an oil pin wash to darken the recesses and improve the detail of the model. I like oils because if you make a mistake, you can just remove it with a makeup sponge and some white spirit. I always fear using washes because accidental stains can make or break a paint job. Yeah, I also decided to chop up the Space Marine's helmet because I'm just all in at this point. For those wondering, the backpack is attached to a thin metal rod that's drilled into a cork. The plastic bits are also on a cork but stuck to some silly putty I got from the dollar store. Also for those wondering, my compressor is running at 25 psi and all of the paints used were Vallejo. I am not sponsored by Vallejo, they were just the paints that I had in front of me. Yeah, so obviously this pauldron is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass for getting a transfer on. So I cannot stress this enough. Go out and get some micro sand or micro sol or some kind of decal softener. It'll make this way easier. In fact, it'll make all of your transfers easier in the future. Definitely worth buying. Alright, so we got the transfers on, we painted up the accessories, nothing too crazy. I think the bolter's just black and I painted the magazine metal. I did spend a little bit more time on the leather, but that's only because I enjoyed doing it. I have a tutorial for that back on my homepage if you want to find it. I think we're ready to paint the explosion. I kept things really simple for the explosion. After priming it red, I hit the explosion from underneath with a white ink. This will catch all of the lifted details and give the print more definition. I then covered the explosion with transparent yellow from Vallejo. Imperial Fist contrast paint will work just the same. What this does is it turns the white areas yellow and creates some orange transitions between the white and red. If you're wondering about the orange on my thumb, just ignore it. I screwed this explosion up like 3 times by trying out different methods. Finally, I hit the tips with some black for the start of smoke. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together. A huge shout out to all of my Patreon members, Scott Nolan, PJ Gillespie, Jay Graves, Andrea Einaudi, Jord531, Klaus Johannes Pfeiffer, Zoltan Burks, Mark Peasant, Mark Henry, Peter B, Zach Parenti, Ranger is Gaming, Grindathon, Rico, Alex Cromer, Max Corden, Merkman, The Adeptus Kiwi, JSB, Hayden Gingrich, Jonas, Sconeweller Hansen, and Devin M. Your support is incredible motivation, and I'm extremely thankful, guys. At the end of the day, I just wanted a little bit more gore involved, so I cut up a Space Marine's face and added it to the explosion. I then did some blood strands going from the face to parts of the helmet. Physics-wise, I don't know if that works, but it looks kinda cool. If you enjoyed this type of video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, or check out more of my work on Instagram. I'll leave some links in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. Alright guys, take care.